Have you ever looked at your cat, perhaps as they're curled in a quiet corner of the room, and felt a tiny flicker of doubt? We provide the food, the shelter, and the softest beds, but behind those glowing eyes, there is a complex world of instinct and emotion that most of us barely scratch the surface of. We often assume that because they live in our homes, they automatically trust us. But in the quiet world of your cat, trust is not a gift that is given once and kept forever. It is a living, breathing thing that must be earned through understanding, not just love. There is a heartbreaking reality in pet culture. Some of our most normal, everyday habits, things we do out of affection or simple reaction, are quietly damaging our cat's trust and well-being in ways we can't see. When we misunderstand their signals, we aren't just missing a cute moment, we are slowly breaking their sense of safety in their own home. Today, we're going to step inside the mind of your cat to explore the 6 mistakes that make your cat lose trust in you and how we can move from being just owners to being the safe base our cats truly deserve. Screaming or yelling when they mess up. It happens to the best of us. You walk into the kitchen and see your favorite glass shattered on the floor, or you catch your cat scratching the corner of the new sofa. In the heat of the moment, you raise your voice. You might yell their name or clap your hands loudly, thinking you're teaching them a lesson. But here is the part that breaks my heart. Cats do not process cause and effect the way we do. When you yell at your cat, they don't connect your anger to the broken glass or the scratched couch. They connected directly to you. A 2021 study found that cats exposed to regular yelling showed significantly higher levels of chronic stress and avoidance behavior. They aren't learning that their behavior was bad. They're learning that you are unpredictable and unsafe. To a cat who relies on a stable environment for survival, an unpredictable owner is a terrifying thing. Over time, this doesn't correct the behavior. It simply makes your cat flinch when you walk by or start hiding more often to protect themselves from your energy. Waking them up for cuddles. We've all been there. Your cat is curled into a perfect soft ball, looking so peaceful that it feels almost criminal not to touch them. You reach over, scoop them up, and hold them close for a quick cuddle. It feels like love to you, but to your cat, it feels like a violation of their most vulnerable state. Cats sleep between 12 and 16 hours a day, and this is not laziness, it is a biological necessity. Their sleep cycles are tied directly to nervous system regulation, immune function, and emotional processing. Deep sleep is the only time a cat's guard is completely down. When you interrupt that sleep repeatedly, you introduce a consistent source of stress into their life. Your cat starts to learn that resting near you is not actually safe. If they can't count on you to let them finish their biological recovery, they will eventually stop choosing the spot next to you on the couch and find a harder-to-reach hiding place where they won't be disturbed. Picking them up whenever you want. One of the most common ways we show affection is by picking our cats up and holding them close, but for a cat, having their paws leave the ground is a massive loss of autonomy and control. In the wild, the only time a cat's paws leave the ground is when a predator has caught them. When you scoop a cat up without warning, you are overriding their entire survival instinct. A study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that cats who are frequently picked up against their will show significantly higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, compared to cats who are allowed to initiate contact themselves. Some cats might go limp or tolerate the hold, but tolerating something and enjoying it are two very different things. Every time you force a cuddle, your cat learns that being near you means losing control of their own body. To truly build trust, you must be the person who lets them walk away every single time. When a cat knows they have the right to leave, they are ironically much more likely to choose to stay. Petting them in the wrong zones. Most of us pet our cats the way we would pet a dog. Long, heavy strokes down the back, or tempted by a fluffy stomach, we go for a belly rub. But cats are wired completely differently.
Their skin is loaded with sensitive nerve endings that can go from pleasant to overstimulated in a matter of seconds, a phenomenon called petting-induced overstimulation. When you focus your attention on the belly or the base of the tail, you are touching zones that often trigger a stress response. The safe zones where trust lives are the scent gland areas, the cheeks, the base of the ears, and under the chin. When you scratch these areas, your cat releases facial pheromones that signal comfort and safety to their brain. The mistake many owners make is ignoring the subtle warning signs of overstimulation, the flicking tail, the flattened ears, or the rippling skin across the back. When you push past these signals, you aren't just being annoying, you are telling your cat that you are not listening to their voice. For an animal that cannot speak, being ignored is the fastest way to collapse the trust you've built. Using your hands as toys. It's tempting, especially when they are tiny kittens, to wiggle your fingers and let them pounce and wrestle with your arm. It feels playful and harmless, but you are actually training your cat that human skin is prey. Once that association is locked into their brain, it doesn't just go away. When your cat's predatory instinct is fully activated during hand play, their brain doesn't distinguish between a game and a hunt. Eventually, this leads to a cat that attacks your hands every time you reach out for them, not because they are aggressive, but because you told them those are the rules of the game. The real damage to trust happens when the biting gets worse and the owner begins to pull away or stop playing altogether. Now the cat is frustrated, overstimulated, and has lost their outlet for their hunting instinct. The fix is always to put a toy, a feather on a string or a wand, between your skin and their teeth so your hands can remain the safe thing in their world. Rushing transitions and environmental change. Cats do not experience their home the way we do. We see furniture and decor. They see a mental map of survival. Every piece of furniture, every corner, and every doorway is a cataloged escape route or safe zone. When you rearrange a room without warning, that map is shattered overnight, and your cat is left managing the anxiety of not knowing if their territory is still safe. The same applies to social transitions. Rushing a cat to meet a new person or a new pet can be devastating to their sense of security. Cats are not socially wired like dogs. They don't default to trust. Every new presence is a potential threat until proven otherwise on the cat's own terms. When you force an introduction, picking them up and handing them to a stranger, the message they receive is, "My owner does not care that I am scared." Trust is built when you allow your cat to observe from a distance and approach when they feel ready, even if that takes days or weeks. How to rebuild the bond. If you realized today that you've made some of these mistakes, don't lose heart. Trust in the feline world can be rebuilt, but it requires a shift in how we speak to them. Here are the most powerful ways to show your cat you are ready to listen. The finger handshake. Every single time you go to pet your cat, extend one finger first. Let them sniff and process your scent. When they push their face into your finger, you have your green light. The slow blink. If your cat caught you staring or if there has been tension, look at them and slowly, deliberately close your eyes. This cat kiss is a biological peace treaty that lowers their cortisol levels. The power of proximity. Sometimes the most meaningful thing you can do is nothing at all. Sit on the floor at their level and just exist in the same space without reaching out for them or calling their name. This parallel presence tells them you respect their space and enjoy their company without any pressure. The safe grooming spot. Spend time stroking the spot right between and behind their ears. This is the one place they can never reach on their own, and it triggers a release of oxytocin that creates a chemical bond between you both. Your cat doesn't need you to be perfect, they just need you to be predictable and present. They have synced their internal clocks with yours and even changed their biology just to spend more time in your world. When you start listening to the quiet signals they've been sending, you move from being just a provider to being their home. Until next time, keep watching those small signals. Your cat has a whole lifetime of stories to tell you if you only know how to listen.